Hey everybody, Derick Van Ness here, and I wanted to talk with you about something that's going to be increasingly important to a lot of people, something that I have years of experience at, and something that I want to share with you to hopefully make your life better. And that is giving you some tips for working from home. A lot of people have been sent home lately, and they're still trying to work, they're trying to be productive, they're trying to figure it out, and here's what I know. Most people think, hey, it's supposed to be a dream, it's supposed to be awesome to work from home and, all this freedom and no commute and all that kind of stuff. And that's true. But if you do it wrong, I can also guarantee that it can be a nightmare, it can be really scary. So I want to work on some tips for you today and kind of help you to be more productive. Now, by the end of this video, I am pretty certain that if you follow the things that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to give you 5 or 6 really important points here, that you're going to experience so much more joy, so much more productivity, and so much more balance in working from home, because there's a lot of pitfalls to it, and it's taken me the last 15 or 20 years to get that refined. So let me tell you how I learned about this. Back in 2001, when I quit my job so that I could start flipping houses as a real estate investor, and like back then flipping houses wasn't really a thing. It was like, oh, you buy a house, you fix it up, you resell it, but nobody was calling it all the things, and there was no TV shows and all that stuff. But anyway, I didn't know anything about working from home, right? It was like a brand new thing. The internet was still pretty new. I was trying to figure it out. And basically what it came down to was I got some really good advice, thankfully, because I probably would have done everything wrong. And I got this advice from my father, who had run his own construction company for 25, 30 years, and he had an office at home, right? Which kind of makes sense with construction because you're always going to a different place. But nonetheless, the thing that he told me, the first thing that really changed the trajectory for me was he said, Derick, you need to treat it like a business. And so that means the first thing I want to share with you is you need to have work hours clearly defined. When do I start? When do I stop? When do I do lunch? That can change from day to day. You don't have to start at the same time as you do your regular job. But the reality is if you don't have any structure, what it can turn into is you're working all day and night, or you're not working at all. Your boss can get frustrated. And so I think it's really important that you keep the type of schedule that you have, in the sense that you get up in the morning, you get dressed, you get showered, you do your morning routine and stuff. And we're going to get into some of that stuff, but you need to treat it just like you're still working at work. Now, if you do that, your productivity is going to be way, way, way higher, right? Because you don't have a commute anymore. You don't have coworkers around the water tank and all that other stuff. And you probably miss some of that, but I got to be honest with you. Like, once you get used to being at home and like really being able to focus and not having all the distractions, you may not love going back to the office whenever that happens. And the truth is, we don't know how long all this is going to go on, right? So that's the first thing, is you got to treat it like a business. Literally sit down and write down, every day I start working at ... Every day I'm done working at ... Lunch breaks, other breaks that you need during the day, like really script that out as much as you can, just like you have at work, right? If you have structure, you're going to be able to flourish. If you don't, it gets really muddy and everything else, and it's going to weigh in with some of the other things that I'm going to talk to you about. So the second thing I want to talk to you about is that you need, and there's lots to talk about this, but you need a morning routine. You need a structure. Once again, you get up in the morning and you work out, you drink your coffee, you meditate, you journal, you blah, 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 blah. Whatever your deal is, right? You want to sit down and think to yourself, how can I be at my best? And I'm going to tell you why this is so important. We don't know what's coming, right? I'm going to be completely honest. I think on the short end, people are going to be working from home, or we're going to be on some sort of lockdown for maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks on the short side. My girlfriend works for a very large company that has a lot of franchises. They're in the fitness business. But the reality is they were on there telling their owners to be prepared for 6 to 12 months of being shut down. Obviously, they'll probably be one of the last people to go back to business. But what I want you to get from this is we don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainty. And so you being at your best is exactly what your family's going to need. So take some time, think about it. What do I need to be at my best? Well, you probably got to take care of your body, right? So that means you need some sort of workout routine. In fact, my girlfriend is creating home workouts for people right now as we speak, because so many people are going to need this. How do you not go to the gym, How do you not be able to go and do a lot of the exercise? I do a lot of swing dancing and other things. A lot of that stuff isn't going to happen anymore, right? So how do I stay fit? How do I stay at my best? Because the last thing I want is to come out of this thing 30, 40 pounds overweight, feeling crappy about myself. So I want to have a routine around my fitness and exercise. You also want to have a routine around getting your head right. So some of the things that people talk about are, in a perfect world, doing some meditation every morning, or some kind of quiet time, or gratitude, or prayer, whatever that looks like for you. And then also maybe incorporating, and I think this is going to be really, really important, because I believe we're going to be getting a lot of like stuff coming at us, right? That we're not 100% certain about what that's going to be. So keeping your head right with journaling. And what journaling does is it allows you to process and work through whatever's getting stuck in your head, right? If all these thoughts and all this stuff is coming in and you don't know how to handle it and it gets stuck, that's where pressure and stress comes from. That's where we can get really worn down, because all that stuff's going on in the background back here and it's wearing us out. So if you take the time to journal, just write down what you're feeling, what happened today, what you're thinking. It will allow you to let go of a lot of that stuff and process that all that nervous energy, right? It's really, really, really important, I believe, to do that, because if you don't, it's kind of like a computer. If it has all these programs running in the background and you've only got this much bandwidth to be able to do the things you want to do, you don't perform very well. So the same thing is true with your mind. If all of the bandwidth is being taken up with background thoughts and worries and questions and things that you haven't had a chance to work through and resolve on your own, then those things are going to take up a lot of your capacity and you're not going to be at your best, right? So I like to think of it as like body, mind, and soul. Take care of something physically for your body, exercise, stretching, yoga, whatever works. Something for your mind. I think it's great to read and study every day. You can't see it behind me here, but there's just stacks and stacks of books that I love to read, that inspire me, that give me new ideas, that keep me thinking and moving forward and growing and learning. And then the third thing is your soul, or your heart, or whatever you want to call it. That's where prayer, meditation, gratitude, just taking silent time, any of that stuff will really, really, really help you to be centered and be strong, so that as all this stuff is coming at you, then you'll be in a powerful place to handle it, right? So that's the second thing that I think is really, really most important to handle. And if you don't get this piece right, everything else is going to struggle. So make it a priority. Even if you're not used to doing this, this is your chance to take control of your life. Not to be receiving what the world gives to you, because we don't know what that's going to be, but for you to literally be dictating how you show up every single day, so that you can be the cause in your life, not the effect. You can be the creator in your life, not just receiving what the world wants to hand you. And I think when you're in that position, you feel so much more powerful, so much more empowered. And guess what? Your husband or wife, your kids, your friends, everybody around you, even if they're only seeing you through Facebook or whatever, they're going to notice the difference. You're going to notice the difference. And this is going to be your chance to shine. Okay, now that we've got that down, I want to talk about the third thing that's super, super important as you're working from home. And this is it. You need to set up a workspace that empowers you. Now, I know a lot of us may not have had that if we haven't been working from home, right? We're trying to work from the kitchen table. We're trying to work in a little nook by the stairway where it comes upstairs, or in a corner in the basement or whatever. I'm telling you right now, you need a workspace, especially if we're going to be working from home in the foreseeable future. You don't want to be trying to do this thing on a duct tape, band-aided together type of setup. You need a good place with good lighting that you can work and do your work. And ideally, you want something that empowers you. Like, a lot of people downplay this, especially if you work in a cube or whatever normally. This is your chance to create your version of a craft room, or a man cave, or whatever you're into. Like, you can see behind me, I've got several of my pieces of art on the wall. I've got inspirational posters. I've got a whiteboard over here where I can set things up. Obviously, I'm filming, so I have this set up as a film studio. Like, this is my haven. This is where I can come in. I can be empowered. I can be inspired. And there's a lot of research that says that we work and live up to our environment. So the better environment you can create for yourself on a daily basis, something you walk into and say, wow, I feel successful. Wow, I feel powerful. I know because the way that this feels that I'm gonna be at my best today. This is gonna be essential. Once again, a place that you can come to, you can escape to do your work and be productive, make the difference that the world's gonna need from you. So creating an environment, take a little bit of time. Think about the things, pictures of your family and loved ones, inspirational quotes, print them out, put them in a frame, artwork that you like, plants and water features and whatever, textiles. Some people love drapings on the walls and different kinds of things. Whatever works for you and makes you feel powerful, I'm telling you right now, if you take the time to set this up in the next couple of days, especially because we can still get stuff at the store and Amazon and all that stuff, I don't know if that's ever going to slow down. If it becomes unavailable at some point, you might be stuck. So invest I'm going to be doing this for 3 to 6 months. This is going to be where I'm going to work. So move into that space, create it, and empower yourself. You're really going to reap the rewards of coming to and working from a space that doesn't feel like it's halfway done or kind of pulled together on a dime. Find the ability to create a space that you love. You don't have to spend a lot of money, but be thoughtful about it. Put things there that are going to empower and lift you up. That'll make a huge, huge difference for you in your environment and your performance. Okay, now we've got our space set up, we've got the time set up. Here's the thing, you need everybody to be on the same page with you. And what I mean by that is you gotta have a conversation with your significant other and your family and anybody who lives with you, okay, roommates, whatever. Because amazingly, when you work from home, everybody thinks, oh, you're just free. You can take me to do this, or you can run an errand for me, or you can help me clean up the yard or whatever. That's not what this is about. This is about you being able to be at your best and perform for the people that need you the most, right? So you need to have the conversation. I'm working from home. I'm not playing from home. I'm here to be productive and I'm not available. Treat me like I'm at the office. If you can do that and have that conversation up front of hey honey, I love being around you and the kids, but here's the deal. I need to be able to focus on that work while I'm at work. Now, you've already scheduled your hours. When you're done with that, be with your family, have fun, help your friends, do all of that. But I will tell you that by drawing a clear line with them up front, you won't be fighting it all the time, because what happens is they think you're free, you think you have work to get done, so they always feel like they're not getting enough of you, and you always feel like you're being pulled and you can't get enough done. And there's always this back and forth, and what we've created is an unrealistic expectation for our loved ones. They think we're here and available. This is vacation time, this is summer break, and you know that you've got to work. So if you want to be productive, if you really want to kick some butt, get your family on the same page. Make some rules. Here's the work hours. Here's how we're going to act during those work hours. If you need quiet time or whatever, then everybody's on the same page. The expectation is the same, and everybody's going to be happier and supportive and excited about that. So have that conversation. Write it down right now. Okay, gonna write down my work hours, set up my environment, create the space, and then I'm gonna have a conversation with my significant others and anybody else that lives with me, so we're super crystal clear of when I'm working and when I'm not. That will serve you so well. It'll save a ton of frustration and probably save you a couple of awkward conversations along the way. Now, the second to last thing that I want to say is clarity is absolutely essential. We're going to be in a turbulent time here. A lot of people don't know what to expect. Things are going to be changing. We're going to be getting different kinds of information. So for you to be as clear and focused as you possibly can is going to make a massive difference for you. It's going to create a ton of mind space for you. You're not going to get distracted by all this stuff. You're going to be able to perform at a much higher level, get more done in less time, and that could lead to a lot more family time. In fact, I think we have a massive opportunity here to be present with loved ones because we don't have a commute and we don't have all the extra hullabaloo that goes into having to go into a job, right? So when you're working from home, being crystal clear about what am I here to do, what needs to be done, how to do it, when it's going to get done, and so being organized. If you don't have a journal or some sort of planner, I know most of you do, but if you don't, because that's something that's handled at work, or at work you've got your boss looking over your shoulder, or your assistant or whoever coming in and helping you, you might need to get more organized. Take it upon yourself. Say, okay, listen, for me to be effective, I need to know exactly what to do, how to do it, when I'm going to do it. So you're going to want to get as organized as you can. Buy a journal. I like the bullet journal system. I use just a regular moleskin, a thick moleskin pad, and then I make my to-do list. I take all my notes in there. And the one thing I love about that system is, and this is something I took from the Franklin Covey system, is everything goes in one place. I have a journal and everything goes into that one journal. Now, as you become that organized, you're gonna be able to take ownership of your work. You're gonna be able to take leadership and be confident. So if you don't already have an organizational system, I would highly recommend that you get some sort of journal or day planner. You need it anyway. If you don't already have it, this is a great excuse. They're between $20 and $80 online, depending on what you buy. But it does magic and it lets your brain rest. It's a place, if you want it to be, where you can write down all the questions you have, all the things that need to be handled. You can just unload that onto paper and then your brain is freed up. I often joke that my pen remembers a heck of a lot more than my brain does. And so for you to be able to unload all that stuff, put it there in a place that's gonna allow you to be at your best, be really focused at home, because there are more distractions and we really want to not have anything unnecessary pulling it at our attention here, okay? Make sense? So the last point I want to make here is this. You're going to need to think ahead. You're a leader in your family and you're a leader in your home if you're watching this video. So it's going to be a lot of people looking to you and it's going to be vital that you are paying attention. So think ahead. We don't know what to anticipate, but if your mind's clear and if you're focused, you're going to have the ability to look. What might be happening in a week? Or 2, or 4, or 6? What are supplies we're going to need? What are problems we might run into? What are the things we need to be prepared for, right? I often think of this as planting seeds. Farmers couldn't just show up in the fall, way back in the day, and just gather food. They had to plant and think ahead. Plant in the spring, tend those crops all summer, and then they were there in the future when you needed them. They couldn't just wait until they were hungry to plant the seeds. It was too late, right? Same thing with you. We're going to be going through some who knows what kind of stuff here in the future. So for you to think ahead, be a leader in your own family. They're going to need you to anticipate what might come up. How do we be prepared? And I'm not saying paranoia, but I'm also saying jokingly, like, don't wait until you're out of toilet paper to go to the store and get some. It's a little bit scarce right now. Now, I suspect that's going to change in the future, but certain supplies may be tougher to come by. Certain resources might be tougher, so you might have to think ahead. You might have to talk to neighbors and pool things or share things, but don't wait until the last minute. This is another thing that'll totally derail you working from home, is going from emergency and emergency to emergency, or you having to solve everybody else's problems. If you make that clear line that you're at work, while you're at work, you can focus on your stuff. While you're at home, you can help everyone else. But truly, if you can be a leader and think ahead just a little bit further than everybody else, you're going to be in a prime position to keep yourself from getting into all the putting out of fires. Those fires won't happen in the first place because you're prepared, right? So the world really needs leaders. Every single household, every single business, every single team is going to need leaders during this time. I think if you can be prepared, effective, have a routine that supports you, an environment that supports you, and clear rules and boundaries with everybody, you are going to be in a position to push forward and really dwarf everybody else. While they're in survival mode, you're going to be thriving, you're going to be accelerating, you're going to be growing, you're going to be leading the pack. And that's what I want for you. It's going to be really important. We need more and more people like this in our lives in the near future. So please take full advantage of it. Implement the things we talked about today. If you have questions, let me know. Of course, please subscribe if you're getting value out of this stuff. Like the video because that really helps the algorithm. If you have questions or comments, please put them below. I'll do my best to answer as many of those as I can. But I really want to see you be here. I'm here supporting you so that you can support the people who are most important to you. So thanks for taking a little bit of time to watch this video. Let's get out there, and while everything's a little bit crazy, let's take full advantage of it. The truth is, where there's opportunity, there's chaos. This is your chance to thrive. So my name's Derick Van Ness. Thanks for taking a couple of minutes, and I'll see you on the next video.